Calling to order the regular meeting of Buchanan Community School Board here at Buchanan High School Auditorium. It's been a while since we've been here, and so it's kind of good to be back, and now we're up in the world on stage, kind of looking down. That's just different. But with that said, we'd like to welcome you to our meeting of the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education. And of course, all of our regular meetings have been posted on our district website, in our central office, and in each district school building, and so on. And tonight's agenda has been posted as well on the website and has also been emailed out to the board members for their purposes of being able to review the materials ahead of time so that they can engage in the meeting very professionally and informed. With that said, also, with that, the agenda should be at the back there on the table, so if you haven't picked up a copy of the agenda, please do so. This meeting of the board is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purposes of conducting the school's district's business. It is not considered a public community meeting. We do have an item for that in the agenda under item G, and of course, we usually have, and it must be completed, I guess, before we get to that section of the board meeting, is a speaker card that must be filled out and passed up to the front, so that needs to be up here before we get to that part of the meeting. So please make sure that's filled out, and it'll be forwarded to me when we get to item agenda G. With that said, if you do have the agenda item, just sometimes it's good to review and look at the top of that. You see there the mission, vision, and beliefs of the district, and it's good sometimes to review that, and I encourage you all to look at what our mission is and what our vision is also for what we plan as far as education and what we are doing, and the beliefs and what we have in our district. With that said, let's have roll call.
Mr. Lee.
Here.
Ms. Berry.
Here.
Mr. Carlson.
Here.
Ms. Lesh here. Dr. Carlin. Absent. Ms. Ryder.
Present.
And Dr. Burnett.
Here. Moving on to agenda item C, the adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
Go ahead.
I motion the agenda for the board meeting of July 19th, 2021 be adopted as written.
Support.
All right. And roll call.
Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Ms. Berry.
Yes.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin. Sorry. Absent. Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett.
Yes. And moving on to agenda item D, recognition of visitors. Again, we'd like to welcome you to our board meeting. And Ms. Robinson, do we have anyone else to be recognized? Okay. Moving on to agenda item E, superintendent department reports. And Ms. Robinson.
Good evening, everyone, and good evening, our visitors. And it is a lot different being in person, so this is my first official in-person board meeting. Yay.
Yay.
I have a couple of items to present. The first one is our Return to Learn plan, and I'm going to attempt to present my screen so that those at home can actually see it as well. Let's see if this is the right one. No, you know what? Let me just do it this way. So I'm going to start off by sharing my entire screen, and then I'll go to my tab that has the Return to Learn plan on it. Okay. So what I have on the screen is our draft copy of the 2021-2022 Return to Learn plan. You will see that there are 4 links that are connected to it. One is just some information connected to the CDC, their indicators. Also, you'll have our Berrien County Health Department Return to Learn plan, which looks very much similar to this one. And then I did connect the Berrien County Health Department dashboard, which they updated once a week. And then also the CDC data tracker, which is also updated once a week. These two links, the Marion County Health Department dashboard and the CDC data tracker, those will be the trackers that we will actually utilize in determining our transmission rate. The plan is divided into transmission rates: low transmission, moderate, substantial, and high transmission. And you will see those indicated in the colors here. And so based off of the week before transmission rates, that'll be the information that we'll use to determine what transmission we're in, whether blue, tag, yellow, orange, or red. This plan is divided into subcategories. There are about 20 of them, and you'll see instructional format, athletics, cleaning and disinfecting, everything that we need to look at within our educational environment as it relates to this plan. And then under each area, within each of the 4 areas, it determines or lists out what we'll do, what our protocols will be under each area. I do want to share that this plan was initially developed by a small subgroup of superintendents, who then brought it to the entire group of superintendents. We all had input on it last week. And so you will see across the county a very similar plan being shared with other districts. So as we go down, 2 of the bigger areas that has come to light is the area of face coverings and vaccinations. So with face coverings, right now we are not operating under any mandates. So schools do have to follow what the state and federal mandates are. And right now we are not under any mandates regarding that. So face coverings are optional for our school district. District parents do have the option to have their students in school with face masks or without face masks. And then as the transmission rates progress, once they go to red, if there is a health department mandate or something from the federal government, we will have to pivot to adhere to those mandates. I do want to point out that under transportation, that is the only area right now that has a federal mandate. We operate our school buses under the federal guidelines, and so we do have to adhere to those. And right now, while students are on the buses, and this is something that was discussed last week in depth about it because most of us had not, but right now, while students are on the school bus, they are supposed to wear face masks. They are required to wear face masks.
Yep.
The other thing is vaccines. So vaccinations are not a mandate by our school district. So students are not required to have a vaccine upon returning to school. That is something that has not been mandated, and we'll just follow that. So parents do have the option to get kids 12 and above vaccinated if they so choose, and we'll still promote that as well, and just send out information to parents about that as well, in conjunction with the health department.
And staff.
And staff,
Yep.
yep, and staff. So board, what questions? Oh, that's it for that return to learn
Okay.
plan.
Very good.
I just noticed in the plan, if you can go from page 2 and 3 real quick, where it says mask, or the face mask, if you go to page 3, it says required, because it gets cut off. So
Okay.
you might want to push that down, so
Push
that
that,
if somebody's
okay.
just reading that, it looks right there, it says
So right
required to wear face mask. So,
Okay.
but it said, up above it says not. So just somehow push that
So that
face
it's all-
covering down so it's all one.
Okay.
Just that cut in that page, somebody might see it and say, anyways, that was my only thing I saw.
Okay.
Trish, is this the protocol that's being followed now with summer school?
Everything except for the school buses. So we still have to get that information out about the school buses. So that'll be something that we'll have to change mindset, because we all started without that understanding.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay. All right, so the next update, if I can do this, is a video. So I like to share the video that was put together, and this was before all of the mandates were lifted. So our school district, of course, in the fall will look different. We'll have a more traditional opening. However, with this video, it captured a lot of what our district is, and I wanted to share this, as this will be put out on our website, on Facebook, as we start school. Hold on a second. volume up with that?
For the shared screen.
Screech everything.
Cover your ears, we had some testing issues.
Of course, right?
I'm sharing my whole screen.
Something happened.
Hello, I'm Patricia Robinson, Superintendent of Buchanan Community Schools. I'd like to take this time to welcome you to our district. I'd also like to give you a little disclaimer about the video you're about to watch. The footage you see was taken during the 2021 school year while we were still under state-mandated regulations for COVID-19. Moving forward, things will look a little different at Buchanan Schools since the mandates and regulations have been lifted. We still feel this video captures the essence of what it is to be a Buchanan Buck, and we know you'll enjoy it. So without further delay, let's go Bucks.
It's an amazing community of educators and professionals here.
It's really fun here. The teachers are the best.
We're a family here. Everyone gets along. We worry about each other. We take care of each other as a staff.
I really like my teacher because she's a great teacher and she's nice.
I tell everybody who listens, Buchanan is the place to be.
Oh my gosh, small town, big heart. Once you move to Buchanan, you're ours. We're gonna take care of your children like they're ours.
You have to be in Buchanan. The kids, one, are like the nicest kids ever.
When you come, there's a lot of kids that get bullied at other schools, but they just fit in a lot better here. I like the family that we have and how connected we are.
And it's a safe environment here, which is really good. And we learn lots of things here, and each day I mostly leave with a good smile on my face.
I have 5 kids currently in Buchanan schools. This is the first year that we've had all 5 of our kids here. All of my kids are very different, and Buchanan has a lot of opportunities for each and every one of them.
They are very welcoming. We've met a lot of great families here, and even though we don't live here, it feels like we're a part of the community.
Seeing the way that these teachers support these children through and through. They always have their backs. They're always willing to listen and learn things and understand.
I like that it's a safe space and that if you need help from anybody, you could basically go to anybody for help.
I think one of the best parts about going to Buchanan is that everybody knows everybody, so you're kind of friends with all people in all grades, so you always have somebody to hang out with.
Because Buchanan really has the small town feel, but with the absolute highest degree of professionalism and integrity in our school district.
It's just a great place to be. It's where it's at. If you're not here, you're missing out.
I think any parent is going to want to find a community, a school especially community, where the teachers and parents are all willing to work together as one village. So that's why I stay in Buchanan, is I feel the love here. And when you feel love in a place, you're going to want to stay there.
Let's go Bucks!
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 Let's go Bucks! Let's go Bucks!
Let's go Bucks!
Let's go Bucks!
Let's go Bucks!
Let's go Bucks!
Hello, I'm Patricia Robinson, Superintendent of Buchanan Community.
Excellent.
Awesome video.
Let's go Bucks.
Very good.
Exactly.
And I think, like you said, you're going to post that out, and Facebook and everywhere else to basically, again, promote Buchanan and Buchanan excellence as it goes forward and what we offer for our students.
Yep.
So good. Anything else?
I do have one more, and this is just concerning just the update of our budget. So Carrie and Brian are both working on our updates, even though they're not giving a report tonight, but I did just want to share that Governor did sign into agreement the $8,700 per student allowance, which is going to boost our budget over $600,000 if we're able to get the enrollment at 1520. So just to let you know, I mean, that's really good news for us. And as they have updates and are working on that budget amendment, you'll have those amendments and updates.
That is a good
Great.
news thing.
Yeah.
Usually when you're waiting around and then again, then they don't give you as much, or then they say, oh, we're cutting instead of giving.
Or we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
We did over and over again.
All right, very good. Moving on to item F, information and new business. And we have just a couple comments, Human Resource Committee, I think.
I can share the updates on that. We had a brief meeting on the 8th. Brief because the main topic were open positions, positions that are in process of being filled and waiting on clearance. And then small conversation around exit interviews and making sure that we're capturing information there to identify any underlying concerns or positives that are happening. And then also some of the positions that were open as of this meeting. So the elementary music teacher, early childhood special education teacher, mechanic, and we also discussed on that one that we had previously worked with other districts. So if there's a way to do that again, we'd like to explore those options. And then the administrative assistant for transportation operations and food services, that would be a shared position. So those were the positions.
Good. And then Finance Committee? Chris?
Yep. Oh, I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah. We met on the 12th with Patricia, Carrie Brunsting, and Brian Brown. Very briefly, just going over reports that the board will see in our packets moving forward. And so I believe next month you may see slightly different reports that Brian is used to sending out and thought it would be more advantageous to us having a little more detail on things. So.
Very good. All right, good. Moving on to item G, Community Dialogue Citizens Concerns. I do have one from Julie Legault, and this is about the COVID-19 testing for athletes. If you want to step up to the mic and just share.
Yeah, I was just curious, as a parent and as the athletic trainer, what our stance is going to be on the COVID-19 testing. I have no idea what other schools are doing as far as for the athletes. Just because things are so hopefully different than they were last year and they stay different. So, just curious.
Is this some?
I
You
can
can
answer.
answer that, yes.
All right,
Yeah.
so right now outlined in the plan, it says athletic testing will not be required unless it's mandated. So right now, we're moving forward with no testing requirement.
And you just need to document
Yeah.
that.
Sorry.
All right. And
We'll get it.
Very good. And I have no other
Nothing else.
cards as well. All right, moving on to item H, adoption of the consent agenda. May we have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education approves the consent agenda for the regular board meeting of July 19th, 2021, that it be adopted as written. Includes minutes from the June 28th regular meeting, the July 7th work session retreat, warrants, treasuries, and expenditure reports for June of 2021, tenure for 2021, 2022 for Tori Thomas, and recommendations to hire as submitted by the superintendent, director of operations, and the high school principal of Jessica Elliott, 9th grade English teacher, Felicia Mack, operations utility worker, Mike Cornelius, maintenance utility worker, Sarita Hassel, transportation supervisor, And finally, staff resignation as submitted by Caitlin Lustila, the elementary music teacher.
Support.
Any questions or comments from board members?
Like to say welcome to the new staff. Welcome back, Jessica Elliott.
Okay. Very good.
I just wanted to say for the elementary music teacher, Caitlin, she's gonna be deeply missed. My son loved her. She was a good music teacher. He always came home singing something, so. And she did great communicating with parents too, so she will be greatly missed.
And roll call.
Oh, that's me. I'm like, where's it at? All right, Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Miss Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Miss Lesh, yes, Dr. Carlin, absent, Miss Ryder,
Yes.
and Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item I-1, the BE letter of agreement. May we have a motion, please?
I move the Buchanan Community School Board of Education approves the attached letter of agreement with the Buchanan Education Association.
Second.
All right. Ms. Robinson?
This part was just overlooked in the original document, so we've updated it to reflect all of the times for the upcoming school year.
Okay.
Includes the half-day and the early release.
Okay, very good. Any questions or comments from board members? Roll call.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Miss Berry,
Abstain based on my relationships.
Mr. Carlson,
I'll abstain.
Miss Lesh, yes, Dr. Carlin's absent, Miss Ryder,
Yes.
and Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item I-2, superintendent contract amendment. May we have a motion, please?
I move the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education approves the superintendent original 3-year contract.
Support?
And
I have a question about that.
go ahead.
And I should have called, sorry. For this, should this be continuation? Because it's a continuation, correct? It's the continuation. We didn't redo 3 years. No. Yeah. So I think it should say, yep, superintendent's original, but continuation of her original contract, correct? Yeah, just to make it so they don't think we got another 3-year,
Okay.
if you don't
And-
mind, Ms. Ryder.
No, I
Sorry.
agree with that.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay,
All right, so you guys in agreement with the amendment?
sorry.
Yes.
All right.
Just to
Very
add
good. All right. And again, we like to thank Ms. Robinson for her hard work. She's been doing some heck of a bang-up job of doing all kind of cool stuff. And we look forward to continued working relationships with our school district, as well as continue to do well with her evaluations and things of that nature. So, very good. Let's have roll call.
Mr. Lee,
Yes.
Miss Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Carlson,
Yes.
Miss Lesh, yes, Miss Ryder,
Yes.
Dr. Burnett.
Yes. Moving on to item I-3, updated authorized banking users. May we have a motion, please?
I motion the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education approves the following individuals to be authorized users on Buchanan Community Schools financial accounts: Carrie Brunsting and Brian Brown, and the removal of the following users: Mark Curlin, Tom Tebow.
Support.
All right. And Ms. Robinson?
And this is just a matter of getting our accounts updated with the authorized users there. And so we're adding the 2 new people, and we want to thank Mark too for stepping in when it was a crunch time. So now we'll have just the 4. We'll have the board president, treasurer, and then the 2 members of our team.
And then I have a quick question about that. Should we put, because Brian Brown is contracted, should you put that so he's not considered staff? Does that make sense? And maybe Carrie could answer that better. I just just because it just has his name on this contract, and I don't know with the motion, I just was gonna put contracted, just same as Tom, so that, I guess it was known if somebody looked at it down the.
I don't think it would hurt.
It seems like our contract would cover that.
Well, and when we went under contract, it didn't have his name, so then I was just like, I thought.
Well, because our
Any
contract is with that organization, right, and they've appointed him.
Okay. I didn't know if we needed to put anything on there.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Okay. It should be clear.
We'll cover it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's fine. Just a question.
Good question. Any other questions or comments from board members? All right, roll call.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Ms. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Dr. Burnett?
Yes. Moving on to item I-4, our Buchanan Community Schools 2021-2022 Return to Learn Plan.
I make a motion the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education approves the Buchanan Community Schools 2021-2022 Return to Learn Plan.
Support.
All right, Ms. Robbins.
We just reviewed it, and then I did want to put out there, if there's any amendments that need to be done, we'll bring it back before the board as needed, and then I'll just keep the public parents updated as well.
And they will be able to see this also on the website as well. Right. Very good. All right, any other questions? All right, roll call.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Ms. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
Dr. Burnett?
Yes. Moving on to item I-5, Statement of Assurance. May we have a motion, please?
I make a motion the Buchanan Board of Education approves the following state of assurance as recommended by administration. The Buchanan Community Schools Statement of Assurance of Compliance with Federal Law. Buchanan Community Schools complies with all federal laws and regulations prohibiting discrimination and with all requirements and regulations of the U.S. Department of Education. It is the policy of the Board of Education that no person on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, or ancestry, age, gender, sex, height, weight, marital status, or disability shall be subjected to discrimination in any program, service, or activity for which it is responsible or for which it receives financial assistance from the U.S. Department of Education. Compliance officers for affirmative action and review of federal requirements are as follows. Section 504 ADA, Title 5 and Title
Title 9
and
6.
6. Thank you. Brian Pruitt, Buchanan High School Assistant Principal, 695-8404, and Shelby Beasley, Buchanan Middle School Principal, 695-8406.
Support.
Ms. Robinson?
And this is our annual statement of assurance, so we've updated it to include two names that are in the board policy as well.
Okay, very good. Any questions from board members? All right, roll call.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Ms. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Ms. Ryder?
Yes.
And Dr. Burnett?
Yes. Moving on to item J, question comments from board members. Just to give an invitation to all board members and everybody that's out there that we are back in the swing with National Night Out. First Tuesday in August, which is August 3rd, 6 to 9, right over there. So hopefully we'll have all kind of eatings and stuff like that. And if you want to dunk the dare officer, he will be there if we get our tank. So
Been active.
yeah, so, okay.
I just want to say thank you to those that came and volunteered at the school farm. We did a whole 2 days of scraping and getting ready to paint the schoolhouse. So it did take a bunch of the volunteers. I thought it was awesome that the Honor Society students came and participated, and then all the other members that they put out a message to the Leos, and so different people showed up, but the students is what was so cool. And then there was all levels, so from mine at the bottom all the way up to the scaffolding. So anyways, we just want to say thank you to those that helped get it ready. And I think Mr. Nixon's working on, we didn't get it painted because of the moisture and it was rainy, so he wanted to let it dry out a little bit. So he's been doing a little bit at a time, so thank you for that.
I'd just like to make a quick comment on the Return to Learn plan. I appreciate the consideration that's gone into the plan and making sure we're working with the local districts, and the, I'll say, restrictions for the tiers seem reasonable, and I appreciate that it's done by county, not based specifically on state, so thank you.
It's always going to be one of the challenges, and actually our county's been pretty good with our superintendents actually meeting on things like this and discussing and working together to ensure, because it's one of those that we have to ensure not only the safety of students, but we also have to ensure the safety of staff, which is required by statute and stuff like that, so. All right, with that said, any other comments? All right. Next board meeting will be August the 16th at 6 o'clock, and probably will be here unless something else goes weird or something else. And with that, wow, we're gaveling out.